We're going to talk about one of my favorite aspects of the game, hitting. It is the most difficult thing to do in sport, is hit a round ball with a round bat. But we're going to talk about that next here on Sports School. Rod Carew, I loved his style. I loved, the way he could hit the ball the opposite way. I loved how he hit for a high average. George Brett, Paul Molitor, Robin Yount. I kind of gravitated to those guys I thought I could be most like. And I think Rod Carew was at the head of that list because we were both left-handed hitters, and we both didn't hit for a lot of power. We both were, you look at our numbers now that we're retired, they're very similar, but I looked at myself as being that same type of player. First part we're going to talk about is batting gloves. You want to get a pair of batting gloves that doesn't have wrinkles. It doesn't wrinkle. It's very important that they fit snugly, and the snugger they fit, the better they are. If you get wrinkles in them, you get blisters, and as a hitter, that's the last thing that you want. The second thing is a bat, and getting a bat that feels comfortable is very important, and that's an individual choice. I could suggest things to you, but the bottom line is whatever feels comfortable in your hands, that's what you're going to feel most confident with. So this bat right here, 33 inches, 31 ounces, is the same bat I used when I was playing in the big leagues. This, by big league standards, would be considered small. This, by college standards, would be considered small. Most guys are probably 34, 31 in college, 34, 32 at the professional level. A bat is very important, and so when you make a decision which bat to use, again, it's just like this is the thing that's going to enable you to do whatever it is you set out to do once you get in the batter's box, so choosing a bat is very important. The next thing we're going to talk about is where to stand in the batter's box. Myself, I was a guy who split the plate. I was right in the middle. But as you watch big league games, professional games, you see a lot of guys standing in the back of the batter's box. There are a few guys who stand in the front of the batter's box. But again, wherever you decide to stand, you should stay there, because by staying there, it's going to make remembering how pitches break and how pitches look from the pitcher, it's going to be easier to remember them, easier to make an adjustment by staying in the same spot. I use a small bat because I'm the type of hitter that I was a control guy. I wanted to control the barrel through the zone, and so I used a 30 for, first 10, 11 years of my career, I used a 32.5-inch bat, which is in today's game considered tiny. But my whole thought process was, I'm going to go up to the plate and I'm going to put the bat on the ball. I'm not going to strike out, I want to put the bat on the ball. And so for me, it was about controlling the barrel head through the zone. And so I used a short bat until about 1990, 91, and I went a half-inch longer, went to 33 inches, and dropped a half an ounce to 30 and a half ounces. And so by big league standard, that's considered tiny. Heck, by college standards, that's considered tiny. But the reason why was because I wanted to control the barrel through the zone. Okay, now let's get into the mechanics of hitting. There's a couple of rules of thumb that you have to remember when it comes to hitting a baseball. Number one is when you get in your stance, you need to be in a balanced position. I always talk about being able to feel your behind under you. And so as you're standing here and you're pumping the bat, you got to be able to feel your backside under you. Okay, nice balanced position. Now, two things have to happen before you can pull the trigger and swing the bat. Number one is that pitcher is winding up and getting ready to get to his release point. You've got to take your hands back and set your front foot down, okay? When the pitcher gets to the release point, you're gonna take your hands back and set your foot down in a balanced position. When you set your foot down, it's like stepping on a pillow. And notice, now I'm gonna turn sideways here, notice when you take your hands back and you set your foot down, that your body's not drifting forward. When that front foot hits the ground, your body's got to stop. You can't leak forward and get weight over your front leg, otherwise you're going to make out. So that's the first part. The second part is once you've taken your hands back and you've sat your foot down, now taking the knob of the bat to the baseball with your palm, with your top hand, palm up, becomes the next important thing, because in order for the barrel head, and this would be a good shot for our over-the-top camera, in order for your barrel head to stay in the hitting area, that top hand palm has got to be facing the sky. Okay, so when we talk about pulling the trigger, you're going to lead with the knob and the barrel head's going to stay in the hitting area. Okay, so once that barrel head gets through the zone, now you want to follow through and finish high. You don't want to finish across your body. You want to finish high and through the baseball, because when you're hitting a baseball, it isn't just getting to the baseball. You want to hit through the baseball. So it's getting to the baseball, through the baseball, follow through, and finish high. As little head movement as possible. So when you're taking your hands back and setting your foot down, your head is going to try to stay still. As you're taking the swing and swinging the bat through the zone, you're trying to keep your head still. So the least amount of head movement for you, the better hitter you're going to be. And if you can get your body in a balanced position here and a balanced position here, now you got a chance to be a pretty good hitter. One of my favorite drills to do when it comes to hitting a baseball is the tee. And what we've done here is we've put the tee right in the center of JJ's stance. And the object here is to get in position and take the swing and hit the ball solidly. This particular ball is going to go the opposite field. And so we're going to have JJ take a whack at it. Okay, two things you want to work on. Number one is getting your body in position. So I want you to take your hands back, set your foot down softly, go. Good. One more time. Go. Good. Okay, now we're going to put it together and take the swing. So you do the same thing, hit this ball to right field. Good. Very nice. Good. Very nice. Now the object of the tee is to do exactly that. It's not necessarily to get a hit every time, but what you want to do is mechanically get in the same position every time, so that theoretically, if you get in position every time and you take the correct swing every time, the chances of you getting a base hit go up a whole lot more than they would if you're making mistakes. And so it's a mechanical drill that we do to enable you to get your mechanics to understand what you need to do every time you go up to the plate. JJ, nice job. This drill that we're getting ready to do now is called the soft toss drill. And the soft toss drill is great because we're going to use baseballs for this drill today, but you can use wiffle balls, you can use old socks, you can use wiffle ball bats, depending on how, we have a big baseball field here to use, but you can do this in your backyard, you can do it in your garage, you can do it in your bedroom. And the two things I want you to look for now as we start this soft toss drill is, one is Anthony getting in position, taking his hands back and setting his foot down softly. And number two, as he starts his swing, he's going to lead with the knob of the bat. All right, Anthony, you ready?
Yep.
Good. Good. From up here, what you can see is the bat staying in the hitting area, starting on the outside part of the hitting area, depending on where the ball is, going to the ball and through the ball. All right, again, what you're looking for is, number one, is he getting in a good balanced position, taking his hands back, softly landing on his front foot. Number two, leading with the knob of the bat. As he leads with the knob of the bat, he's gonna bring the barrel through. That palm on his top hand is gonna be up facing the sky. You're gonna follow through and finish high. Now remember, it's to the ball, through the ball, follow through and finish high. And although this looks difficult, the object of the art of hitting a baseball is to really simplify things, not complicate things, because this thing here can complicate a lot of things if we allow it to. And so you need to have a simple game plan to go up to the plate, get in position, take your swing, to the ball, through the ball, follow through and finish high. Now you ask, are there any other things that can help me become a better hitter? Yeah, there's a lot of things that can help become a better hitter. And here's two more things. Number one is when you're standing here in the batter's box and you're looking out at the pitcher's mound, what are you looking at? Because as a hitter, the first thing I want to know is where's his release point? And here's a good trick to do. What I used to do when I was standing here was that I would look at the logo on the pitcher's cap. And when that pitcher got ready to get to the release point, there's a slow shift from your eyes to the release point. If he's a left-hander, it's there. If he's a right-hander, it's bow. Notice your eyes don't have very far to go to get to that release point. Okay? Now, lots of people want to know, okay, what determines where I hit the baseball? And really, it's very simple. The further you let the ball get deep, the more apt you hit the ball the other way. So if I'm a left-handed hitter and I let the ball get deep and I hit it right there, then I'm gonna hit this ball to left field. And what happens is like we talked about in the drills, you get in position, it's left field, center field, right field. Okay, notice that in all three, I'm leading with a knob and the palm is up, okay? Now, less chances for mistakes is letting the ball get deep. Okay, more chances for mistakes is trying to hit the ball out front because you've got that much room to determine, that much time to determine where you want to hit the ball. So if you're going to hit the ball out in front, there's a bigger margin for error out here than it is letting it get deep and hitting it back here. Okay, so remember, left field, center field, right field. Or if you're a right-handed hitter, it's just the opposite. The further you let it get deep, the more apt you are to go to the other field. Okay, let's review. We've talked about getting a good pair of batting gloves that fit snug, no wrinkles, no blisters. We've talked about getting a bat that feels comfortable. This one 33-31. We talked about mechanically getting in position, being in a balanced position, taking your hands back, setting your foot down softly, not allowing your head to move. We've talked about taking the knob of the bat to the baseball, being in a good position. We've talked about directional hitting, hitting the ball to left, to center, to right. We've talked about finding the release point, starting with your eyes on the logo and going to the release point. If he's a left-hander, if he's a right-hander. We've talked about practice, practice, practice. The only way you're going to get better in this game. You can take these drills, and if you work really hard with them, you have an opportunity to get better, because basically when we're talking about hitting a baseball, you're not going to get a hit every time. But if mechanically you get into the right position, your chances of getting a hit become much better.